go to Wyoming. Let's go to the Mountain West. Let's talk Jay Sawvel. You're the Minnesota guy. I'll let I'll let you take this over a little bit. We were pretty negative on ULM. Well, I guess you were pretty positive on ULM. See. I'm not
I was
negative.
positive on Brian Vincent, negative
Yeah,
on
negative on
ULM. That's
ULM.
the
That's
reality.
it's very different. Now, how do you feel as a Minnesota fan about Jay Sawvel
Here's the thing. Like he did some good things there with Jerry Kill. Jerry Kill's also
for 1 year?
yeah. I don't know how much Minnesota fans really missed him. Right, Joe Ross was infinitely better once he took over there. But it is what it is. He did some good stuff at Wake Forest, but he's also
Did
been a
he? Mike Elko. Here's my thought on this. Mike Elko had a top 20 defense at Wake Forest before he took the job at Notre Dame. The next year, Jay Sawvel takes over. It is a top 75 defense. The year after is a top 100 defense. Then it gets canned.
yeah. But it's also like Mike
Wake
Elko's
Forest
special.
fans remember him very well.
Like Mike Elko's now the head coach at A&M. Like Jake Sawville's is if he
He's
was
now the
at
head coach of Wyoming.
yeah, but okay, but you say that like there's a difference there. And we love Wyoming. We
I'm just
love
saying,
Wyoming. We love it. Don't you worry. But it's also easy
love
to play.
Wyoming. That's why I'm worried about you guys.
It's easy to play defense there, and that's why his defenses have played so well the past couple of years because you can.
It's you can't throw the ball. You literally cannot throw the ball with 22-mile-per-hour crosswinds. Yeah, any defensive coordinator is going to look really good at Wyoming. Like, I don't know. I love the things that Craig Bull did there. I'm a huge fan of him. He got things done. He went to bowl games. He won games that he shouldn't have won. He had some good defense there. He created, hired staff to tailor to playing in uh, Laramie. But to me, this is just, I don't know if it was like they didn't have time, but come on. Like, I know he probably, like, Craig Bowl probably ahead of time said, hey, I'm going to retire after this season. Like, you guys can start looking for a new coach. Or Craig Bull said, no, this is my guy. I enjoyed working with him. I want to lead the program with him. If that is the case, this is a placeholder for whoever's going to come in next year or the year after. Like,
I think that's part of it. It sounds I wouldn't say temporary, but like I don't know if he's done
he's a
anything in his
bridge
career.
coach.
Yeah, and the thing is like at a program
I
like
hate bridge
Wyoming,
coaches.
why are you doing that?
I
Like
hate bridge coaches. Why? Why? Okay.
I
I understand. Okay.
there's a lot of pressure to win.
Mike Leach is a different scenario, right? If your head coach passes away, right, and you have nothing left, and you have to hold your team together, your roster, and you have to hold your coaching staff together
And your community.
and your community together, like in times like that, and you have a guy like Zach Arnett, who, by the way, I think is a really good coach, and I think he'll get a job somewhere else. He's a great leader and all that stuff, but that is the time to promote within and use him as a bridge coach, right? This is a bridge coach scenario. Like I don't know. He was not a great coordinator in my opinion. He wasn't a, like amazing coordinator. I don't know. I'm not within the Wyoming program, so I'm sure there's a lot of different feelings towards him. And if you are a Wyoming fan in the comments and you are really positive about this hiring, please let me know. I would love to understand from an outsider's perspective because it's a very unique program, of course, like all these programs in the Mountain West. But when I see this from an outsider's perspective, I worry. I worry for the Wyoming program for these next couple of years.
Yeah, I do think you're right. I do. This is another part of it is like finances. Like that's to be honest, this is a business, and whoever tells you that, whoever disagrees with that, I think you're unfortunately wrong. Like this is the bottom line stuff for a lot of these programs. Like they need to meet budgets and whatnot. And Craig Bull was making $1.4 million, and Jay Sawville is going to make around $1 million. That is 300K that can be freed up elsewhere to use in your program or in your school. Like that's what these unfortunately these athletic departments and presidents have to meet those expectations and other standards. Part of that discussion they did talk about with Jay Sawville with getting a pay decrease from Craig Bull was that they were going to put at least some of that money back in the football program with resources, with assistant coaching salaries, travel, recruiting expenses, all that good stuff for him to build his program. But also like that's another thing. Like it just feels like an easy, safe, I wouldn't call it cheap, but I would just say like discounted higher because Wyoming, Craig Bull, what he did there, they won a good amount of games the past couple years with him there. And this was looking like a good job. And I like Laramie, I know it's different, but it's a good, attractive place to be at. It's a very hard place to go in and win at, right? For opposing teams. But obviously, Craig Bull had some success there building a program. It's unfortunate. And I don't know. I hope Jay does well, and I think he can if he just replicates what Craig Bull did. But also, he's gonna go in there and make some changes and be his own person. And it kind of is what it is. That's the reality of the situation right now.
Yeah, so when we talk about grades, when we talk about coaches and hires, we talk about expectations. So what are your expectations for the program of Wyoming?
I don't know.
It's hard to say.
It you should be making a bowl game every year, and honestly competing for some Mountain West games because what they've done a good job there. They've done a Craig Bowl had them in the conversation, right?
Yeah, I
Past
mean,
couple years.
you missed a bowl game in 2020 and 2015, and I guess before that you were pretty bad. But yeah, Craig Bull had the boys going. He was really good there. He was really good. And I don't know, like historically, like if Wyoming was like all that good in like the 90s or early 2000s or whatever, but with Craig Bull, they had something where they were consistently going to bowl games. I don't know if they're going to be competing for Mountain West titles. Like, I guess every team in the Mountain West, it feels like kind of has a chance to at least compete for a title once or twice. Even teams like Hawaii have had chances to compete for titles there. So I'm not asking Jay Sawvel, right? Those are not my expectations to compete for a Mountain West championship year after year after year. But like you said, 6 wins, 7 wins. Can you meet those expectations? I I guess like with the continuity, like if you keep that staff similar and you kind of build out your roster structure in a similar way, where you have like okay offensive line, you have a really good running back that you lean on, a pair and a spare, as CD says, and you just have a defense that is good in the front seven, and kind of men in the back seven because you don't need a back seven when you're playing Laramie with 20-mile-per-hour crosswinds. So I don't know. I think like Jay Sawvel could do it, but like I have to give this hire the lowest grade that I've given a higher this offseason. I'm gonna give it a C minus. I'm gonna give it very low. Like I think this was just lazy. I think they just didn't want to have to pay up. I think they maybe didn't know what they wanted to do, or the timing was not right for them. Whatnot, whatnot. I think they could have gotten a lot better candidates.
Yeah, and here's the thing too, like he will be in the bottom half, like the bottom third, really of coaching salaries in the Mountain West, and obviously it make it a hard ask to compete with the top of those programs with the resources of a bottom half team in the Mountain West. Very tough to do. Craig Bull, a guy that did it very well, but you can really lean into Wyoming and into Laramie, which I think Jay Sawville has the benefit of being there for a little bit. At least gives him a chance to do so, and saw how Craig Bull did it. Maybe he can replicate that. I'll be a little bit higher. I'll go C plus area. I do think he will fail to meet expectations, but I don't think the bottom will fall out. I think he understands enough what he's doing. He's been under enough good coaches to be able to keep it together here for at least a couple more years. But
This is his first head coaching gig,
yeah, well, yeah. Well, so
so
it's obviously a risk in that sense, but I think I have some faith in him. He's an older guy, and his style of play, I think, really will benefit where he's at in Laramie. And I think that's part of the reason why they drew him there in the first place to be a defense coordinator, but also for the administration to believe in him enough to make him the head coach of Wyoming.
yeah. I mean, to be fair, Craig Bull, I don't know if he was everyone's favorite hire when he got hired, and he did a great job. So, look, if he can, there's a structure there to win. If Jay can stick to the plan, then he can succeed. He can succeed. I'm not saying he can't succeed. I just think that there are possibly some better candidates out there that they could have used some money on and some resources on. But you know, who am I to say? I'm not in that program. It's such a unique program that it's hard for an outsider to understand. And I'm sure there's some Wyoming fans that are watching this that are like, this guy's crazy. You're talking, well, what is that? Does he know what Laramie's like? No, I've never been to Laramie, Wyoming to
We
watch a
want to
football
go
game.
though.
I do want to go to Laramie to watch a football game, but just these are thoughts from an outsider's perspective. So thank you for joining my TED Talk.